Welcome again to the Too Much to Type podcast. I'm Phil Watson, and this is my illustrious baby brother, the Christopher Watson, also known as
Chris Watson.
Okay. You weren't gonna say Bach or
Oh, no, that's my.
you had so many musical aliases over the years, which I think is fire. But
Trying a bunch of different stuff out, seeing what sticks.
all right, I'm just itching to say this question before someone slips up and gives the answer again. This is a deep question. What did the buffalo say to his son as he headed off to college?
Don't horse around.
No. They're a buffalo, not horses, but good try.
Don't forget to arrange your things.
Oh, that was cute.
Not bad, okay.
Because they might live on a range?
Right.
No.
Oh.
Bye, son.
Oh my god. That's not cool. It made me laugh though, so I guess it worked.
Yeah, that was one of our friends sent that, and I thought it was a fire. It was so ridiculous.
I would not have gotten that.
But it's good, right?
You know, it made me laugh.
All right, a couple more questions for you. These are rapid fire. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Favorite day of the week?
Wednesday.
Really? Hump day.
Mm-hmm.
Whitney or Mariah?
Whitney.
Thank you for the right answer. Favorite city in the U.S. besides the one you live in?
Besides the one I live in, probably Boston.
Last song that you downloaded or streamed or saved?
Age of Worry. Yeba.
Is that new?
No, it's on that album.
Age of Worry.
Alive
I just don't know the
Me.
names of songs. These are supposed to be rapid fire, but I had to address the fact that I don't know the name of it, but I'm sure.
It's a cover. It's an old song.
Oh, okay.
But her rendition of it is like better than everyone else's.
Okay, man. I wish she was here, like right here, not in your chair.
I would
but
be a puddle
waiting on the
if
side.
Yeba was sitting here.
I'm telling you, as far as white women who sing with black voice,
I'd be no more good.
she doesn't, but she is like, she gets every pass.
Out of this world.
I love Yeba. Abby Smith. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
That's a really good question. But I guess would every language include animals? No.
That's interesting because animals do have a language that they speak. It says every language, not every human language.
Considering
Got me.
history and who's been around longer, I think I'd rather talk to animals.
Wow. Okay.
I think they have a different kind of wisdom than humans would.
Hopefully they take notes. Because many of them have been around for more than 2 months.
Very true.
But tortoises.
Yeah, I mean,
At least.
and then you think about what's passed down.
Yeah, that's what I'm
The
saying.
innate
Yeah.
knowledge that they carry
Yeah.
has not been tampered with, or
They're going to tell you, get food.
or tainted with our human issues as far as confidence and
Yeah.
self-esteem and higher
Right.
power and all this. Animals just kind of do what trees do.
Yeah.
They exist.
See, you got a taste of the depths. This is why I started on the surface. Because I wanted us to walk our way into the depths.
Oh,
No, we're walking. This is what I expected. Favorite holiday?
I'm not a huge fan of holidays, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Christmas. Yeah.
Okay. And how long does it take you to get ready in the morning or in the evening, whatever time you get ready?
About 15 minutes.
I don't understand people with these 10 to 15 minute answers. It takes me about 45 minutes. Scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you? Be honest. And you're gonna look at. I knew you was gonna look over at the. I knew you was gonna look at the other end of the room.
I would say a strong 8.7. Strong 8.7.
There's judgment emanating. I can feel the warmth of it
The
on the judgment
from behind the
and the
lamps.
caps being thrown. At what age do you want to retire?
54.
That's a very interesting answer.
Yeah, it's around where my mom, she retired, and I think that's a good age to retire. You've got plenty of time left to enjoy your life, and by then I plan to have a nice well, I plan to keep saving like I'm doing now, and by then I think I should be able to enjoy my life without worrying about what's coming next, or you know.
So what are you retiring from at 54?
That
And what are you retiring to?
Well, as an entrepreneur myself, contractor, that's hard to say, but I do plan to continue building on my trades.
Yeah.
I've put a lot of time in things I know will last. So in 15, 20 years from now, what I know will still be in demand. So I plan to work until I don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And then you're retiring too. I'm sure that includes music.
Yeah, I mean that's my retirement plan involves music, so it's not really retirement when it comes to the arts. But having another source of income that I can retire from is my main prerogative right now. Music is something that will always be around.
Yeah,
it's part of me. It's my blood. So
yeah, and that's why that question always gets me, because it's like I feel like that's not a retirement, but technically it is. If you can do what you love rather than doing what you don't have, you do what you have to do to get money. And I think when you retire, you stop having to do what you have to do to get money.
Right.
You do what you want to do.
Right.
And you use the money that you invested. So, all right. Invisibility or super strength?
Probably super strength, only because invisibility doesn't help anyone but myself. Super strength, I can actually be of service. I can help people and myself.
You're helping people stuck under cars and
anything. But being invisible, it sounds more of a, I don't know, it's kind of like a sneaky background kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of sly, kind of devilish in a way. Like I'd rather not be seen kind of thing. Like I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
If you're here, you're here.
I think I don't like that. I mean, yes, being invisible could actually be kind of whack, like a curse.
And it's like you got something to hide, or you want to hide yourself. Like that's not how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's interesting. Yeah, bro. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
having me. Thank you so
me.
much. You look good over there.
Thank you.
I like this. You know who you look like?
You.
Lola James Watson. That's my dad.
I don't think
spitting image
of
my dad every day.
Y'all say that.
It's amazing. Handsome devils. Angels, excuse me, Dad.
Oh, what about me?
You don't care.
Well, thanks.
But yo, tell me more about yourself. Like, tell me about you. I want to, I'm most interested in hearing about your music, but you are dynamic and dynamically growing, and there's more to you than just your music. So I would really love to hear about like the projects you're working on. I want to hear about your experience teaching kids music, some of the funny stories. It's not funny. I hate that I say this right after that, but it's very interesting how you teach children who can't see music. And I'm like, that has to be a very interesting like endeavor to teach young children who are vision impaired. And I think that's a fascinating thing that you've done. So for wherever you want to start, you can start from your studio stuff. You can start from your teaching or whatever. I just want to hear more about you and what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of rolled into one ball of passion for me. I mean, after our folks split up in 2000, right? We went to live with Uncle John.
Yeah.
My saving grace was Free Loops. It was a 30-day trial
that you kept re-downloading, or
I downloaded it a couple times, but I remember just spending countless hours in the basement by myself, just fooling with the 16th note
Yeah.
beat maker, just making stuff, making beats, just making stuff. Um, because you were, you're 4 years older than me, and you and Chris used to hang out a little more. So I spent a lot of time in solitude, and that was my companion. Music was my companion for a long time, for many years. And it kept me sane. It kept me excited about life.
Wow. That's one thing I don't really think about. You were not much younger, 4 years younger. I'm junior, senior in high school. So I'm like free driving. But when they separated and we went there, you were freshman.
Yeah.
So you were still kind of locked in.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like every, 14-year-old, right, normal 14-year-old life. But the solitude definitely was accompanied with the music, and that is what kept things interesting, more or less. Years down the road, it kept making stuff and learned some instruments, and became a teacher. I love teaching music. I love teaching my students. I don't feel it's the most lucrative profession when you balance the the payout versus the effort. It doesn't it's not very sustainable for me personally.
Yeah, stuff.
So I still teach outside of my day job, which is a project manager. So I have one student every day, and I like it that way. And aside from all those things, I still make beats and record music and stuff, and like every day, I'm listening to my mixes, and in the car, I'm listening to my mixes on the way home, on the way to work. I'm constantly listening to my mixes, trying to fix things and rehash things, and every day I go home. Whenever I go home, I go right on my computer and I make those changes that I've been listening to all in my car. So yeah, I've got a project that I plan on releasing sometime soon. Once I feel like it's ready to put out, but that's just what I do. I mean, a lot of people have passions, and mine is just making cool art. Stuff that I enjoy. I believe in making something that you like, and have it be like a picture of what you are and who you are at that time. Release it and go. Move on to something new. Keep growing. Keep making new stuff. So I look forward to putting out more music in the future, and every stage just being an example of where I was at that time.
Speaking of that, like I'm thinking back, there's one song that I have that just sticks with me forever. Well, two songs. One is "Where's My Joe," because it's about coffee, but
you name it.
Used to call me Joe, so I just kind of took it personally. He's looking for me. Where's my Joe? And then the other one is "On in 5," which is still my fave.
Thank you.
Which is a really fascinating song. Very well written, I think. That's your song, right?
I wrote it.
Okay, just making sure, because
I wrote that.
But yeah, so tell me, you talked about progression in different stages in your life. What would you say about your music style then when you wrote "On in 5," where you wrote "Where's My Joe"? "Where's My Joe" was for a competition, right?
That was for Folgers Coffee.
Okay.
They put online a competition, and I just figured I'd just give it a shot and write for it.
All right, bad. So let's scratch that one. But "On in 5," even though I love that rendition that you wrote, like where you were when you wrote that, and then you fast forward to where you are now, and talk about like where you are in your mind, your heart, your spirit, and how you produce your music, then how you do it now.
The creative process, you mean?
Yeah, and tell us about your style just in general. And how that's progressed.
That's kind of a hard question to answer, because a lot of my inspiration, it feels more random than planned.
Yeah.
So it's almost like seeing a pretty flower and then building a cascade of flowers from that one flower, or I don't know, just having a small idea and just allowing that idea to spread and to grow. So it might start from a simple melody, or even a phrase, or even a word. It's like, oh, that's a cool word. And just letting it grow from there. So "On in 5," I wrote that a long time ago, and I credit that song to my my religious upbringing. As far as inspiration just being a part of life, we were inspirational people because we were taught to be inspirational. Definitely applies now I could have very well just been writing to my future self.
Mm.
As far as like not giving up, you could be on, and any minute, someone is watching you, some younger person is watching you, some older person is watching you.
Yeah.
And your life is an example of life in general. Everyone has their own view of things, but when they see you, what do they see?
Right.
Are they encouraged? Are they discouraged? Are they depressed from from who you are, how you are? And while someone who is very independent, like I am, might look at that and be like, well, everyone, has to fend for themselves. Eventually, every tub has its own bottom. At the same time, it's like we're all here.
Yeah.
You're not blind. You're not deaf. You can see and hear what people are saying and thinking, and all those things coagulate into how you think about yourself, whether you like it or not. You're not here by yourself.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to have that kind of like, I don't know, those morals as far as understanding that you are not alone, even if you feel that way. It's not the truth.
Yeah.
You're being watched by somebody, and that alone should give you some sort of encouragement to continue to be better and to continue to love on yourself and to show other people love and things like that. Just being self-aware in general.
Yeah. I encourage anybody listening to go listen. Where can they find On and Five? Still on
I don't know. It's been so long since I've heard that song. I actually can't tell you where to
it's
find
on
it.
The app with the red logo with the sound bar. What is that called? SoundCloud?
Is that SoundCloud?
Yeah.
It's on SoundCloud?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Every once in a while I go to SoundCloud and I just put that on loop.
Really?
Yeah, like On and Five.
Wow.
There's a lot of plays. At last I checked, it was a couple thousand. A few thousand.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're On and Five. Like, don't give up.
All right.
Shape up. Like, that can mean a lot of things. You're On and Five because, we have background in music production, stage production. Like, you're On and Five. Like, not only don't give up because your time is coming, but also like, yo, you can do this. Put yourself, bring it up, bring yourself together.
Right.
So I think it's definitely a motivational song. It's one of my faves. One that I thought you wrote, which is funny because I just never heard the original, was Spring. What's that? You did a cover.
You must be.
Yeah.
You must believe in spring.
You must believe in spring. Obviously, you didn't write that one.
That's an old jazz tune. Yeah.
But that's one that I also go back and listen to because I just love your cover of it, man. So,
thank you.
Your creative process. You started to talk about it. What have you found? Because I know now at your age, you have a creative process, a space, an environment that you create that is conducive to your creating, I presume. What does that look like for you? What is that
Everything is just laid out. Everything is available. You never know what's going to spark your interest. So all the instruments are ready to be played.
No, give us a visual picture.
So you walk into my apartment. You've got a guitar here, guitar there, guitar there. The computer is on already. My violin is, it's in its case, but it's not locked. So
you can get to it fast.
Right. Whenever I have an idea, I can just pick it up and go. And that's just kind of my dream, to have a live room, or even a live house where I can, like, if I have an idea, I can maybe hit a button somewhere or say, Siri, start the recording. And I can, sing or say this idea I have, and it'll save somewhere, some isolated place that I can revisit later on.
Alexa, bro.
Alexa.
I'm tempted to call her right now.
Does Alexa do voice recording? Because that would be awesome. But just being able to just sit down and go. Because the only thing that really stops the creative process are those like small little humps, as far as like, small things.
Distractions.
Yeah. Even as small as having to tune your instrument when you're ready to go. By the time you finish tuning, you could have either lost your idea or lost your inspiration.
You might need a hand in the house. That's his only job.
No, just keep your instruments
Just to keep the instruments on in tune.
Just keep them tuned. Or I don't know.
Or to record your ideas.
I mean, honestly, if you haven't eaten or had enough water, if you haven't used the bathroom that day, anything could halt your creative process or my creative process. So I like to be able to just get up and go as soon as I have an idea. My phone is full of voice recordings of hours of just random ideas.
Yeah.
So every project that I put out is made from ideas I've had months ago.
Yeah.
So as I'm putting down ideas, I'm making projects. I will never run out of ideas.
Yeah.
I'll never run out of songs to write.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. We all, man, I want to have you back on because there's so much music that you have, so much, and then you have the piano. Tell me if I miss an instrument. The piano, the guitar, obviously, electric and acoustic. I always add the lap harp because I think it's hilarious.
I played that for like 2 weeks.
But you played it, and you made music with it, which I thought was the weirdest thing. Because what is a lap harp, and who plays a lap harp?
Nobody. It was a toy.
I guess they play something like that in India or over there. In,
Maybe, I don't know.
With the little ring around the finger.
Right. It's like a dulcimer, but no handles.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but yes, I would believe
Chinese
that you're.
thing.
But yeah, I'm just always fascinated. Saying my little brother plays anything with strings or without, if he has some time with it, and I'm always fascinated. So it would be cool to have you on just to share some of your chops.
Sure, I would love to. Music is all resonance. There's a vibration. There's a sound. There's a sound. There's a tone. There's a tone. There's a note. You know, every frequency has a pitch. You know, so even a knock on a piece of wood, there's a pitch to it. You can make music out of that. You know, it's B flat.
Is that a B flat?
I don't know. But it could be.
He's like, oh my God, is that a B flat? I got perfect pitch, baby.
Yeah. Like I don't know if it was you or Edwin that told me when I was young, I used to play church songs on a harmonica. I vaguely remember that. But I do remember having a harmonica and playing some stuff, but it was like church songs. You know, this is the day. And
I remember you had a harmonica. I remember you having every instrument.
I was 6 years old then. And around that time, I also started playing music on the touchtone dial phone. You remember the green?
I do. The beige phone with the
every
green
button
buttons.
had its own tone. It was like a scale.
You were like a little mad scientist running through the house,
microtone scale on the
playing with things.
And I would just make up songs on the phone, calling the operator or whoever.
Yeah,
you know.
Wow.
So I remember those days. So music has always been part of my mental, like how I see the world.
I just had a funny image because you had started talking about tones and everything has a tone and a frequency and something or another, right? And in my mind, your student, like the young girl who's visually impaired, I just imagined her standing in front of you, 2 feet tall, listening to you speak in these 4 or 5 syllable words about frequencies and things. She's looking confused. What are you?
No, she is.
So tell me about
absolutely brilliant
about her and how you teach her.
When I first met her, I had no idea of what I would do, but I just knew that this little girl wanted to learn music. And the first thing I did was listen to her.
Yeah.
You know, I let her have free reign for the first couple of lessons just to kind of get a feel.
With her violin?
No, piano.
Okay. She could play already?
She could play like nursery, like one finger. Okay. Just kind of feeling around, just hitting things.
Because I was going to say, that's another level. If she was just banging and you watched for an hour.
No, she had already shown some affinity toward the piano.
Oh, sweet.
So when I started teaching her, I remember she started crying. Because I'm not sure what kind of experiences she's had with teachers before me. But just sitting next to her and talking to her like a human being, she could express what she wanted to learn. She's only 9 or 10 now.
Wow.
And
you still teach her? Oh, sweet.
Yep. She's deaf in one ear, and she's blind.
Wow.
So I started off teaching her scales, one note at a time, posture, and then we moved to chords, and then we started learning songs. I would play songs for her, and now I can play almost anything, and she'll play it back.
Really?
Yeah. After some
chords,
coaxing.
Scales.
Right.
Wow.
She knows all scales. You can play literally anything, and she'll play it back for you.
Bro.
I'll say, hey, play a C sharp major scale. You know.
Like, we should go take that to ABC 7, bro.
But her family is like, her brother is in a more dire situation. Not dire, but, you know, he also can't see. And I think he's also deaf in one ear. But he has some form of cerebral palsy where he is not able to, like, walk and feed himself and things like that. So he can't really do anything on his own.
Okay. Are you working with him as well?
Started to, but he kept closing the piano, the acoustic piano. He just kept slamming it shut.
Was it maybe because it was too difficult, or he just didn't understand?
I don't know. He can't speak. It's hard to communicate with someone like that. So at first, he would play something, and I would play it back. And he play something else, I'd play it back. Regardless of how simple it was, I would just try to mimic what he's doing, and then maybe add something on my end and see if he would add it on his end. It didn't really work out that way. And eventually he just got frustrated. And we spent the entire hour with his sister, and she started picking up more and more.
They couldn't just remove the door from the. No, it wasn't.
They weren't going to do that.
Or get a keyboard, maybe that.
And the thing is, they have a keyboard.
Okay.
And now my student uses the keyboard now because her brother kept doing the same thing even while she was doing her lessons. Wow. And it could, goes on her fingers.
He just wasn't. Maybe he needed some noise canceling headphones. Like it just wasn't feeling.
Yeah, maybe it hurt his ears
or whatever.
I don't know. Yeah. But their parents are fairly private about their situation. I don't think they want publicity for it. They understand how that can go. It's attention for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's just fascinating to hear the story about how you taught her and how much it meant to her when she was young, and see how far she's come.
It's one of the coolest things I've ever done.
So much so that I think you said the school was interested in developing a curriculum that they could reuse for other students that were impaired.
Right, and that was kind of the goal. I started working with one of her vision teachers.
Yeah.
With writing music in Braille. But during that process, we learned how difficult it is to actually write music in Braille because you have to teach it in Braille. And Braille music has its own theory. So I will be teaching her 2 different theories at the same time.
Yeah, this sounds like a lot.
And she's so young. It's just like that'd be a lot for her. So maybe later on, when she's older, But right now, it's just about having fun. Wow. As long as she's enjoying it, I'm happy.
Wow.
So we just kind of hang out over Zoom.
Okay.
Play music.
Well, that is sweet. That is really sweet. I didn't have any specific questions for you as far as the family stuff goes. You were here for the conversations. Any part that resonated?
A lot of it. I mean, I was there. It's kind of in the background watching y'all do things.
You weren't in no background. You're the main character.
I remember running from one end of the house to the other end of the house from the time I got home from school to the time to go to bed.
Often with a shoestring or something hanging out the back of your pants like a tail.
Because I wanted to be a monkey. Dragon Ball Z was my favorite cartoon.
And you basically were that little monkey running around the house.
On one of my favorite cartoons had a tail.
Jumping off of furniture.
Yeah. I wanted to fly.
And I feel like you did fly a little.
In my head. I don't know. I remember being very free, when people weren't home or around, I would, dance with the mop or just run. Just run around the house, jumping on the couches, and I don't know. I thought, maybe something was wrong with me or something.
Did you though? Did you really?
Not
none of us did. That's all we knew.
Retrospectively, I feel like there was like something.
I figured all little brothers wanted to be Dragon Ball Z monkeys and ran flipping through the house.
Yeah, I felt like I was just kind of a tyrant, just running around making noise and making trouble.
Yeah,
but I mean, as far as like mom instilling and dad instilling good wisdom in us, absolutely. Yeah. I remember all of that. Yeah, and I could tell when mom would get tired. I can tell when she would get tired. When she starts throwing books and stuff. That's how you know. That's how you know.
You got a book thrown at you? You probably deserved it.
Spoons and hangers.
Oh, yeah, we did get hit with spoons. That's something that we didn't talk about when mom was on camera.
The discipline.
I'm seeing if she got anything in her hand.